life of the hereafter. These are the 3 stages that mankind goes through. This life will come to an end. The life of the grave will come to an end. And likewise, these 2 lives will come to an end. And as for the life of the hereafter, then that will never come to an end. That will be eternal, both for the believers and for the unbelievers, for the munafiqeen and for the mushrikeen. For everyone, that life is eternal. Either it is a life in paradise, or it is a life in the hellfire. As for the believers, then some of the believers may taste the hellfire and receive the punishment of the hellfire for a while, as a punishment for their sins that they committed in this life, but eventually they will be put into paradise. As for the munafiqun and the mushrikun and the kuffar, then all of them are in the hellfire for eternity, and the hellfire will never ever come to an end, and their punishment will never be lightened for them. Those mushrikun, kuffar, munafiqeen, those disbelievers who did not enter into the fold of Islam, or that they exited the fold of Islam, never to return back to it, then they are in the hellfire for eternity. As for the believers, then eventually every single muwahhid, every single worshipper of Allah who established the tawheed of Allah and believed in the tenets, believed in the tenets of Iman, in the fundamentals of Iman, the belief in Allah in the manner that Allah has commanded us to believe in Him, with regard to the 3 categories of Tawheed, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Uluhiyyah, and Asma wa Sifat, and those who believe in the angels in the manner that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed for us to believe in them, and the one who believes in the books in the manner that Allah has prescribed for us to believe in them, and the one who believes in the messengers in this manner that Allah has prescribed for us to believe in them and follow them. And likewise, with regard to the issue of the hereafter and the affairs of the hereafter, and the issues of Qadr, the good and the evil thereof, then if a person upholds these tenets and that which relates to them, and does not exit the fold of Islam by that which exits the person from the fold of Islam by way of belief and speech and action, then this type of person is a muwahhid and a follower of the messengers, and he will be entered into paradise to remain therein for eternity. Does not being circumcised nullify your prayer? I have never heard from any of the scholars, I have never heard from any of the A'immah of Al-Islam, or the scholars, or the Lajnatul Da'imah, or Shaykh Abdul Aziz bin Baz, or Ibn Taymiyyah, that have ever stated that the one who does not get circumcised, that his prayer is nullified. The nullifiers of the prayer are well known. That which nullifies the prayer is well known, and books of fiqh have been written upon the topic that would cause a person to nullify his prayer. From it, of course, is the release of urine or defecation, or the release of wind from the orifice, from the anal orifice, and other such matters that would nullify the prayer, such as, for example, not being in a state of wudu or starting the prayer, not being in a state of wudu, or deliberately, whilst knowing the qibla, praying in a direction other than the qibla after knowing that the qibla is in a certain direction, and other than that. So the scholars have mentioned the shurut, the preconditions of the prayer, the pillars of the prayer, and the obligations of the prayer. All of this has been recorded in the books of fiqh, and from them is the great excellent work of the great alim, the scholar, the faqih, the allama Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen, Sharh al-Mumti', which is an excellent book upon the topics of fiqh and the prayer, and other the earlier chapters of the fiqh are mentioned in there. Can you name some Sufi groups and callers to this way? Inshallah, that will come bi-idhnillahi ta'ala from the words of the scholars. The question is regarding the prophets of being alive in their graves and praying in their graves. This is something which is correct and true. established in hadith which are authentic. Al-Albani has authenticated many of them, and other than him from the Salaf. There's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that when he was taken upon the night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem upon the Buraq, when he was taken upon the night journey, that he said he passed by the grave of Musa alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam was in his grave praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So from the belief of Ahlul Sunnah is that we believe, number one, that the bodies, even though inshallah those will be covered by the statements of the scholars, that it is established, number one, that the bodies of the prophets are not consumed by the earth like our bodies are. Like the rest of mankind, the bodies are consumed by the earth, they decay. As for the bodies of the prophets, then they do not decay, and they are not consumed by the earth. Secondly, that the prophets, it is established that the prophets are alive in their graves, or they are in a state in their graves, alive, not meaning that they are alive in the manner that we are alive, but they are alive in their graves and they pray in their graves. But not the life of this world, because we mentioned that just because we say that they are alive does not mean that they are alive, that they are alive here. Just like Allah Jalla wa Ala has established in an ayah in the Quran with regard to the martyrs. Do not say that they are dead. They are alive. Meaning which alive? They're not alive because they've been killed in this world. Meaning alive in the barzakh, in the life between this life and the hereafter. So likewise with the Prophet, that they are alive in the barzakh, in the life between this life and the hereafter, because it is clearly established that the Prophet ﷺ died, alayhi salatu wassalam, the best of the Anbiya and the best of the Prophets, the best of Allah's creation. It is established that he died, because if he did not die, why did they bury him? Did they bury someone who was alive? It makes sense. Would you bury anyone who's alive? If your father was alive, you'd bury him? They wouldn't even bury their sheikh while he's alive, the Sufis. So why do they claim that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ was buried alive and he didn't die, he was just buried alive? So he died, so he was buried. And he entered into the life between this life and the hereafter. And this is something that is clearly established. Inshallah we'll conclude there, and the people can get ready for the prayer, and inshallah we'll continue this topic next time. Jazakumullahu khaira wa subhanaka wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.